Hey, welcome. My name is Nancy Jane of Being of Earth, here to help you learn, grow, and raise your vibrations. Today we are talking about pendulums, listening to your pendulum with an open mind and trusting it, as well as listening to your pendulum for yes or no. Why yes or no questions are the best choice. If you're ready for today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and, well, let's just hop on into it. You have to stop being skeptical. Honestly, this is the secret to all divination. Know and trust that this is something that really truly works and actually gives answers. If you don't think that it's going to work, if you're skeptical, if you don't really want its help, why should it be helping you? Why should it want to help you? And if you don't believe, then why are you dabbling in it? Some sort of part in you believes that it is real and that it does work. So get rid of the skepticism, get rid of the doubt, and fill yourself with belief. Believe, trust, and know that the answers are real. When you get a new pendulum, it's important to create a connection with it, sort of a bond. Carry it with you for a certain length of time, maybe a month or so. Let it get to know you, your vibrations, your habits, the way you are, the way you act, those around you, the energies around you, just things that are going on with your life in general. Let it get to know you as you can get to know it. Study the crystal of the pendulum, get to know. Well, you should have probably already done that and probably chosen that pendulum based on whatever you were kind of thinking, but nevertheless, sometimes we buy things just because they're beautiful, and that's perfectly okay. I'm definitely guilty of that. So do your research on your pendulum, see what kinds of things that goes with, and get to know your pendulum. Creating a connection to your pendulum is going to help your pendulum align with you and give you correct and accurate, true answers. Let me know in the comment section down below if this is making sense to you guys. What questions do you have so far? I know that sometimes pendulums can be a little tricky. We are going to get into rating it here very shortly, so stick with me. So when we're dealing with pendulums, they are best for yes or no questions. They really only give yes or no responses. You can do a maybe, yeah, but in-depth questions or questions that you want a bigger response for or more in-depth of a reading, tarot cards are going to be better suited for that. However, with a pendulum, you can ask multiple questions. You can rephrase the question. You can ask multiple questions to get to the answer of your bigger question, if that makes sense. Now let's roll into a little sample example reading for you guys.
It's often a good idea before doing any sort of divinational or metaphysical workings to cleanse the working area. Today I'll be using Palo Santo wood as I usually do, only because I don't have anything to go with my sage, but I got my lavender in the garden growing. Today I'll be using my Howlite pendulum. When holding your pendulum, it is best to let it drape over a finger of your choice and allow it to just hang there. It's also always a good idea to anchor your elbow to better hold your pendulum steady. It is very important every time you do a pendulum reading to ask each time what yes and no is, being it frontwards and backwards or side to side. I tend to use a circle as a maybe. People also use diagonals as maybe. If it goes diagonal for me, or if I'm just still not sure what it's exactly doing, it's being a slowpoke answering me thinking, I will re-ask my question. So never be afraid to re-ask your question if you're just not quite sure what it's trying to tell you. So every time we're going to ask it to tell us what yes and what no is. So pendulum, what is yes for today? I'm going to re-ask that again because I did feel myself jerk. And that's okay too. If you feel yourself jerk or move in a certain way, it's okay to, try to restabilize that pendulum and ask again. Pendulum, what is yes for today? And show me no for today. Did you guys see that shift? Yes was this way and no was this way. Honestly, the way I'm looking at it, every single time I ask, it's always the same. It always tells me that way is yes and that way is no. So that's kind of funny. But I still ask it every time what yes and no is. So I'm just going to do that one more time for you to see. Pendulum, show me what is yes for today. And that's going pretty steadily, yes. And pendulum, show me no for today. Pendulum, show me no for today. And there we have it. It took a minute. I asked it again. It took a second, but it did change. If you're paying attention, it did change. So then after we do that, we have our yeses and our nos, which direction those are. Then we always want to do a tester question. I know you're supposed to accept the answers, but just to make sure that your pendulum is working correctly, we're going to do some tester questions of some simple ones that you know for sure, without a doubt, are true. For example, pendulum, is my name Nancy Jane? I see it there telling me yes. Pendulum, am I 28 years old? Correct. Pendulum, am I 25 years old? See that switch off? And I'll do one that I know is incorrect, such as 28, because that's older, but I wouldn't go younger because it might tell me yes, well, yeah, you have lived for 23 years old. So I'll always do an older one and then my exact age to test that. You could do something such as your eye color, your hair color, something like that. Anything that you know to be true, and simple questions like that, just to make sure that your pendulum is functioning correctly, is always a good idea. So let's get into a more in-depth question. Will my hair grow to the length of my boobs by the end of the year? No. Well, what a shocker. Okay, now one thing to keep in mind for pendulums is that it's not a super long-term question that you need to be asking, like years in advance. It might not be able to give you the most exact reading. It's more of a short-term question. So like by the end of the year is an okay question. I wouldn't go longer than the end of a year. Let's try something a little bit more simple, such as, will all of my plants sprout? And I'm seeing a no, which again, not a shocker. Okay, here's the one I really want to know about though. Will any of the sage plants sprout? Yes? Let's ask just one more. Will Matthew and I go on vacation this summer? I'm seeing a yes, guys, so I'm pretty excited. I'm going on vacation this summer.
At the end of the day, pendulums are pretty easy to use once you learn everything. When you get your pendulum, be sure to cleanse it and then charge it, and then of course create your connection with it. Then be sure that you trust in its ability to send you those messages from the universe. Know that those answers are really coming to you. Not only coming to you, but through you. If you have a larger question, you can split that question up, make it simpler, compound, if you will, to make easier yes or no questions for that pendulum to answer. Let me know in the comment section down below what kind of crystal pendulum you guys are looking into getting next, because I'm looking into getting another one. I have 2 so far, so give me some ideas. What are you guys thinking about? Also, if you guys have any questions about pendulums or how this was working, because I know it could be a little bit confusing sometimes, be sure to drop those down as well. Do not hesitate, and be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you had fun, learned something new. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already, and the bell to be notified every single time I upload a new video. And because YouTube is not great at letting me know when there are new uploads, so hit the bell if you'd like to be notified. And until next time, I hope that love, light, and good vibrations find their way to you. Bye, guys.